You are now officially a part of the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. I'm opening it up to everybody. We're all a part, baby. And this is the TNA Impact Wrestling Review for 119 2016. I didn't even put 15 in the year, darn it. Let's jump right into it. What a show we had in store, or TNA had in store for us to watch. Let's jump right into it. We would have Matt Hardy arriving as kind of a hype up to the main event. And then we would have a video package on the main event and the true story within the main event. And then Jeff Hardy he had some words. He cut a promo. He would invite Matt Hardy to the ring so he could explain his feelings about the situation that Matt Hardy could potentially lose his career in this main event. Jeff Hardy says he is very uncomfortable with it, but Matt feels like he let everyone down. He's like, I let everybody down, and I cannot stand it. So he has to do this. He has to do this tonight. He says he wants to show the world that he is the premier wrestler in this world. Jeff Hardy again tries to start chants. He should stop. He tried, but he should stop. Tyrus comes out with a mic, and he says, Jeff, you've made a mistake. He says, you made fun of me. He says, I'm calling you out. But Jeff says, we don't have to wait. We can do it right now. So we get a match set up with Jeff Hardy versus Tyrus. The thing about Tyrus I thought that was really funny, though. Tyrus, for some reason, he just felt like a baby in this promo. Like, there were times he felt like really serious, like this huge man, and there were other times where he was like, you made fun of me. I was just like, Tyrus, you all right, bro? But any thoughts on the first Matt Hardy arrives, we get the video package, and then we get Jeff Hardy and starting chants and having some words and such.
Don't make fun of me. Sorry, I had to. I had forgot about a lot of this because I started watching TNA last night and then I finished today, so I forgot about the whole arriving. But it was a good opening promo or segment. We got to see the brothers. Jeff he cares. He cares about Matt, and he's like his spidey senses was like, this ain't a good thing, or his Hardy senses that didn't work the day that he broke his leg, but they work in the day. He wasn't feeling it. He said, obviously you could not lose your career because you're a Hardy and you'll get hired literally everywhere else. So, it's kind of funny thinking about it now, knowing what happened at the end of the show. You kind of start to think about, that made a lot more sense, or, this didn't make sense or whatever. Just the fact that, Matt Hardy didn't really do anything when, Tyrus was attacking Jeff's leg. He didn't come out to help. He didn't do anything. Just kind of, obviously Matt would want Jeff to do things on his own, but you start thinking about that after watching the whole show, that made sense. But we won't get to what happened at the end of the show. But it's just one of those things you kind of think back on and you're like, now it makes sense.
Agreed.
And Tyrus is a big baby. You baby.
Let's get into Jeff Hardy versus Tyrus. Tyrus was overpowering Jeff Hardy early. He seemed to slip off the top rope. I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was an accident or if it was planned, because it was kind of one of those things where it looked very realistic, but it was kind of one of those things where it looked like maybe they were trying to still play off the leg and he's still trying to get it going. Tyrus was looking, to use a chair. He was just looking to end Hardy's revenge or Hardy's career, or at least break the leg again, but the ref stops him. He pushes away the ref, and Slipper calls for the bell to end the match. He tries to go for the ICU, but Jeff Hardy hits the twist of fate stunner. Any thoughts on Tyrus versus Jeff Hardy besides Tyrus is a big baby?
I mean, Tyrus is a big baby. No, this was an okay match. I could have taken it or left it. I don't necessarily think that the rope slip was planned. I think that actually did happen, and I've noticed that happening a lot in TNA. Most of the rope slips we see are in TNA, it seems like. So I don't know if they need to get new ropes or if they need to, wipe the ropes down after every match, even though this was the first match. So I don't know why it would have been slippery. But I've noticed that in the past couple months that it seems to be a lot of the time TNA that, the guys slip on the ropes or something. You don't really, I don't really remember seeing that much in WWE. I mean, we see it in the indies sometimes, but then again, it depends on which promotion you're watching to see, what kind of, how good the ring is anyway. I've seen it a couple times in Ring of Honor. They have a pretty good ring, but, I've seen it there. So I just wonder if it's something that, they're not keeping up with the ropes or if, they just need to wipe them down more often. But it's just weird that doesn't happen in WWE much. I can't really remember a time that's happened in WWE. Of course, they would edit it out, except if it happens on Raw. But, this was a good match. It built, I think it set up a lot of stuff that made sense later on in the show, especially with Tyrus going after Jeff's leg and Matt not coming out because obviously we found out that, Tyrus has found new employment. We won't say with who, but, we'll get to that. But it was a good match.
All right. As we continue down the road of this show, we would get a Feast or Fried video package. It basically explained the concept for people who didn't know. It was a nice little video package, kind of showing different people who got a title shot and different people who got fired. Like we saw Curryman, we saw Christopher Daniels get fired, we saw Velvet Sky get fired. We saw other people kind of pay dividends with the whole thing. I was looking at the people that were in it though, and I was kind of interested to see, I was thinking about it, like who would win this, or who would get the fired case more than anything. And I was thinking about it. I looked in there and I was like, Aiden O'Shea could get it. He did just start. Maybe they're not happy with the progress he's made or something like that. I was looking at, it was one more guy I was thinking about that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But it was one more guy I was thinking of, but I can't think of him off the top of my head. And then we would get the Wolves. They were pretty excited about Beer Money being there. We were maybe about to get us another, title series or something like that, another tag team series, it seemed like. But Crazy Steve would, he would come up, he would laugh a little bit, and then he would kind of, he touched the belt a little bit, and Davey was obviously not happy about that. And then the Wolves get attacked by someone. We don't really know who it was. We kind of just heard the sound of the attack. I'm kind of thinking it's Abyss. It seemed like it was Abyss for some reason. I saw the little stripe on the pants, and I was like, "Is that Abyss?" I can't tell. They did a good job of hiding it, but they kind of still left a little teaser of maybe whose attire that was there at the end. I'm kind of wondering, is it Abyss? I think they're not really doing anything with him, obviously right now, and he's still on the roster. So I wouldn't be surprised if they put those two guys together. That would kind of be like a monstrous type of a team. Any thoughts on those things? The Feast of Fire video package, the Wolves, or Crazy Steve's potential new tag team partner?
Why you do that? Why you be doing that? You muted me, didn't you? didn't you?
Yeah, we talked about this. Yes, I did mute you. It must happen. Hashtag it happens, Casey.
Hashtag it shouldn't happen because then it confuses me and it ruins the show and it's all your fault and that's why we don't get more followers. And anyway, I was actually trying to look online to see because I don't remember exactly who's in Feast or Fired this year. I remember seeing it on TNA on last night, but I don't remember exactly who was there. But yeah, nobody really jumped out at me as being fired. I know usually, you can kind of, if you look through not necessarily spoilers, but if you know about, contracts and things like that, you can kind of tell because usually it's whoever's contract is coming up. That they're generally the ones that get the fired briefcase. Or if, they have an injury or something that they need to take care of or something like that. You can kind of tell, but there's nobody that really jumped out at me that was going to get that briefcase. And also, I know you and I talked about it earlier. They have the World Heavyweight title. They have the tag team titles. And they have the King of the Mountain title, but they don't have the X Division title, which completely I disagree with because, like I've always said, the X Division is pretty much what built TNA. What really got TNA people into TNA was the X Division, I feel like, and that title. I mean, the least they could do, I know with Feast or Fired, you have to have the fired briefcase. I mean, you have a 6-sided ring, so why don't you have 5 briefcases, put them on 5 of the 6 ring posts, or 5. Yeah. I mean, you could do that. I don't know why they don't.
I found.
I mean, obvious. What?
I found the Feast of Fire.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, clearly, Grado is gonna get the World Heavyweight title briefcase. Let's see. Who's gonna get the King of the Mountain? Eli Drake clearly is gonna get King of the Mountain, and then Rockstar Spud is gonna get the tag team, and he's gonna get Mandrews as his tag team partner. It's good. That's what's gonna happen. What are your thoughts on that? Any predictions?
My thoughts. I was thinking because I felt the same way with Grado. I love Grado. I think he's worked hard to get where he's gotten. But I feel like with Grado, they may feel like they can't figure out a way to really use him. So I could see him maybe. I would hate to see it, but I could see him getting the fire case. I said I would hate to see it, but I could see it happening.
How dare you?
I just said everything positive about him. And then anyway, also maybe Chris Melendez, just because once again I don't know if they're maybe trying to find another way of using him and they just can't right now, or maybe they're gonna somebody's gonna get fired and then they're gonna come back as someone different, come back as a different character or something. So maybe they'll fire a guy like Chris Melendez, hypothetically speaking, and then bring him back as somebody different. Or Aiden O'Shea. I really, all these other guys are kind of big players, in TNA right now. I feel like it's kind of interesting now, come to think of it, because we got 3 potential tag teams that could get it, which I think it was a nice touch. We got 3 potential tag teams with Beer Money, EY and Bram, and Jessie and Eli Drake that could potentially get that briefcase. So that's pretty cool to see. I don't really know. I feel like with the King of the Mountain title, I think it would be cool. It would be cool to see Spud get it. Kind of Spud take a chance at another title would be kind of a cool thing. I feel like maybe I could see Robbie E getting another one. I don't know if he's going to be kind of fearful because of what happened to him last year, but I could see Robbie E maybe getting one just because he's kind of on his own right now. He doesn't have a tag team partner, so I could see that King of the Mountain title kind of being a thing that kind of helps him a little bit, gives him like a little stepping stone to keep getting better as a singles wrestler. World title, I could see kind of Drew Galloway. He's kind of the obvious one. Um, that's the only one I can really think of. I would love to see any of these other guys get a chance at it. Maybe even for later. But I definitely I'm definitely curious because I want to see what's gonna go down with this whole thing.
I disagree. Robbie E did not get a briefcase last year. It was Velvet Sky, okay? And Velvet Sky got fired. So, I mean, I'm just clearing that up. Just clearing that up for you.
That is true. I forgot. That's what it was. It just slipped my mind, and I just forgot. But speaking of knockouts, I'm gonna give you this match because I just wanted to give you a match. I felt bad. I'm gonna give you this match, and I'm gonna give you another match that I think you'd like. Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim for the Knockouts title.
All right. So we got basically the iconic match in TNA. I mean, out of any match, I feel like this is one of the most iconic ones because, these two have had such intense feuds over the years in TNA. Josh Matthews made it clear multiple times that Gail Kim was the first ever TNA Knockouts champion, and Awesome Kong was number 2. He's on the Wikipedia page. He's learning all about TNA, and he's telling us as he learns. I think that's actually what he does. I really do. And then Pope's just looking at him like, dude, come on. You got to know more about TNA before you get hired. Come on now. But this was a good match. I feel like anytime you put Gail Kim and Awesome Kong in a match together, it's going to be a good match. And it always has been. It was interesting having the Dollhouse on the outside. They had, their special seats set up for them, all together. So they got to watch the match ringside. I was expecting a lot more interference from them right out of the gate. I expected them to, be right at ringside, trying to distract Gail Kim. But they didn't do it right out of the gate. They did eventually start, distracting her and trying to get involved. Gail Kim did a beautiful crossbody onto the Dollhouse on the outside. I like that. Finally, the beautiful people, Velvet Sky and not Angelina Love, because she's pregnant. I still think she could come out. I think she could do it. Pregnant or not, I think she could do it. But Velvet Sky and Madison Rayne come out. They kind of, eliminate at least part of the Dollhouse. Jade is still out there, so Jade kind of tries to help out Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong does not get the win, obviously, because it was for the Knockouts Championship. You're not just going to win right out of the beginning of the feud. I could see them definitely building this up really well. I could see, possibly a handicap match with the beautiful people and Gail Kim versus the Dollhouse. They could do a lot with those teams up to a Knockouts Championship match. So I'm excited to see exactly what they do with this. Your thoughts?
Alrighty, real quick, question. Weighing in. I want to get to his comments, or at least some. He says, "I kind of got a feeling Chris Melendez is getting the fired briefcase." He says, "All I know is Spud better not get that fired briefcase. He's the man." I kind of see Robbie E getting the TNA World Title case so he can become a Grand Slam champion. That would be pretty cool. He says, Yeah, and yes, the X Division was a part of the Feast or Fried last year, but it's not this year. That's because they've kind of changed that with the whole King of the Mountain title. Um, as we continue, we got
You're not gonna give your
Awesome
thoughts on the
Kong
match?
versus
Okay.
I was getting to it. Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim that I forgot to review. I definitely like this match. I love when these two ladies go at it. Awesome Kong was looking very much unstoppable, pretty much early. I like that little. I don't know what to call it, so I called it an inverted Black Widow by Gail Kim. It was pretty nice little move there. The DDT out of the corner was nice. You know, obviously Gail Kim got to take out the Dollhouse. She can't let them get in there and do their thing. And then the neck breaker from Kim, but the Dollhouse ends up stopping the count. You know, I definitely I like this match. You know, Kim ends up winning with the eat the feet and by throwing Jade on the Kong, kind of the double trouble there for Awesome Kong. You know, I definitely like this match. I'm wondering because I feel like Kong's gonna win the title at some point. I'm just wondering when. You know, I thought it may have been tonight, but this was kind of a random match to me. It felt like so I was kind of like, I'm not sure. But next, you know, last week we had a beer bash. You know, toast to my water. We had a beer bash last week, and this week Beer Money just looking for a fight. They are just looking for a fight, and they call out EY and Bram, but instead we get Eli Drake and Jessie Godderz, which I thought was a nice little touch there. Surprised that EY and Bram didn't show up at all tonight, but you know, obviously Eli Drake comes out and he cuts a promo, had me cracking up the entire time because every time Eli Drake every time his mouth opens and words come out, you know, I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, Jessie Godderz and Eli Drake versus Beer Money. Storm would ends up getting taken to the outside. Eli Drake or he would end up taking control, and Eli Drake would take him to the outside to inflict some damage. Brood would come in hot off the hot tag. Beer Money would use their tag team skill, different array of tag team moves, which I definitely like about Beer Money. You know, they obviously got the tag team skill to a maximum, and then that would take out Godderz and Drake. We would end up getting the DWI, which is a suplex powerbomb combo for the win by Beer Money. You know, this was a good match. I definitely liked it. Cool to see Beer Money back, and it's good to see Jessie Godderz and Eli Drake. You know, still kind of trying to mesh, trying to get their chemistry together. I definitely like that. Any thoughts on this match?
Well, first of all, I have to get something off of my chest. Okay, Eli Drake. First of all, he's amazing on the mic. I love him. You know, nothing against him, but he has a shirt that has ED on it, and nobody has made an erectile dysfunction joke. Not one. Come on, people. It is perfect. He's giving you the joke, and DX would have done it by now. I'm just saying. But really good match. I felt like with the promos, obviously Eli Drake's is always awesome on the mic. I felt like Jessie's was kind of weak this week. I was like, that's it. That's all you're gonna say? Come on now. But I mean, I guess all he can do is just do this, and he can't really do much else because I'm just anyway. But yeah, this was a pretty good match. I like it's just exciting to see Beer Money back in the ring. I didn't realize it had been that long since they had wrestled on Impact. I didn't realize it was 5-6 years. And then it got me thinking of all of the stuff that has happened since then. We've had Bobby Roode's title runs and his heel runs, and we've had James Storm's heel runs, and James Storm in NXT. It's been a lot. So, you know, but it still doesn't feel like it's been 5 years, which was crazy. But, you know, I didn't think there was anything too special in general about this match, but it was a really good match and just really good to see, like I said, to see Beer Money back. I could possibly maybe see them getting the tag team briefcase. You know, they have in the past gotten the tag team briefcase. So, you know, they could get it, I think.
All right. So next we got Matt Hardy. Trying to check up on Jeff. You got to make sure your family's doing okay. That's the most important thing. You got to make sure that your family is doing okay. And Matt Hardy, Family 101. Little Maxwell was in there. Little Max. Oh, I love that baby. I love that baby. Little Maxwell was in there. And then basically he just kind of sent Jeff to the hospital, which, you know, which made sense, you know, after, you know, I was like, you wouldn't want your brother to be there to support you, you know, but anyway, you know, after a while, you're like, oh, wait a minute, you know, but he would send Jeff to the hospital. He says, you know, you got to make sure your leg is okay, man. That thing is bad. You got to make sure that it's okay. Any thoughts on Matt Hardy sending Jeff Hardy to the hospital? Because, you know,
man, you know, stabbing your brother in the back like that, Matt Hardy. I mean, you know, you probably told, you know, Tyrus to do that just so he would have to go to the hospital, so he wouldn't be there to stop you in your diabolical plan, which I actually liked, and I don't know why people booed you. But we'll get to that. I talked to DJ about this a little bit earlier. Just the fan psychology doesn't make sense after all the things that EC3 has done, and then, you know, Matt Hardy does one thing and oh shit. But anyway, you know, he sends Jeff to the hospital, to the doctor. He didn't say hospital, he said doctor. So, you know, I mean, we don't know. All I know is Jeff, you know, he was a dick to that ice bag. You know, he threw it. I was like, that was uncalled for. That ice was not even being used, actually. It didn't look like. But he threw it anyway, because he mad. But, you know, it like DJ said, it set up more of the rest of the show making sense. You know, because when we were first watching it, you were like, wait, why wouldn't you want Jeff to stay and, you know, have your back? And it makes sense now.
Alrighty. So next, if I can find my notes. Next, we got Kurt Angle. We got a video package on Kurt Angle, kind of them how they followed him last week, and it was a big week for him because it's the first match. It was the first match of his farewell tour against Drew Galloway. Even got a little footage from that match, which was pretty cool. Then we got a promo. Basically, he says, "Who's next?" And I was like, Goldberg, Goldberg, go. I was like, Goldberg coming out. I know it's Goldberg. I know it's Goldberg. Close, very close. The man has a spear. You know, he comes out, he has a spear. He's bald. You know, he is got a tan, I guess, because Goldberg was pretty tan, I guess. I was trying to keep making comparisons, but it won't work. And it was Bobby Lashley. It was Bobby Lashley. I was hyped personally. I love Bobby Lashley. Lashley comes out. He says, "Look into my eyes, Kurt." He's taking some notes.
I knew you were going to say something about that. I knew it.
He's taking notes from my boy EY. He wants him to look into his eyes. It was kind of a weird little moment though, because it was like Lashley came out and he was like, "Yeah, I respect you, Kurt. You know, I've had some of my greatest matches against you, Kurt." And then it was like, "But Kurt, you beat me, you know. So then, you know, I gotta come back and I gotta beat you. All I want is one more match." You know, he did all of that and all of that like face feeling respect stuff. And then at the end, he was like, "You know, I'm gonna beat you." You know, and I was like, wait, what? You know, I was like, wait, what? When'd you get all serious and intense just now? Like I thought this was like respectful. So I mean, I kind of liked it. Even though it was confusing at times, I definitely liked it because I definitely like a more intense Lashley. It doesn't feel as generic to me. Um, because Lashley does look like he could like crush your head with his hands. He's a big fella. I would not like to take a spear from that man. But it was just that was just such a change in tone by him. Um, let's see. So this next segment's about Lashley, so I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this one too. Lashley was kind of giving his thoughts on Kurt Angle, and Raquel shows up, a very much paler Raquel, which was weird from before. She shows up and she says, "Your pain is my pleasure." And that cameraman, I mean, like if you could see his eyes was at like eye to eye with Lashley, right down to the booty, right down. I'm not even joking. I'm not even like. I just gotta say it for real. He was checking that girl out, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Real quick, LB Clash of Kings is talking about Raquel. He says he needs some of that pleasure. He's in a little pain, so he needs just a little bit of that Raquel. And then he says that Bobby Lashley impressed him on the mic tonight. I kind of agreed. I definitely liked it. It was just it had a different feel to it to me. Plus, we don't hear him talk a ton anyway. And for some reason, I don't know where the bass in his voice came from because I've never heard it. But any thoughts, Casey, on Raquel? Oh, Raquel. On Raquel, Bobby Lashley, Kurt Angle, the match coming up. Anything?
I mean, I got a bone to pick with Lashley. And it ain't about him getting all intense out of a sudden. It's cool. When the emotions run high, you get intense. First off, I like that he kind of mentioned that 14 years ago, Kurt Angle found him at the Olympic Training Center and got him into pro wrestling, which was kind of a cool thing. Showing him that respect, and if you didn't know that, it was kind of something cool you found out. But Lashley said that he takes his hat off to Kurt Angle. The man ain't even take his hat off.
He got me with that too. I was like, wait. He was like, I take my hat off. And then I was like, you have a hat on.
You literally have a hat on. You didn't even touch it. My God. And then we got Raquel. She says his pain is her pleasure. So, I mean, Bobby, that is just asking for a dysfunctional relationship, man. Her pain is your pain is her pleasure. She gonna keep you in pain just for the pleasure, man. Don't fall for it. Did you watch Tough Enough? Don't fall for it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
One thing, if any of you guys are Lucha Underground fans, she reminded me a lot. I don't know. It was something about it. It was like that seductive, evil type of a thing she was putting off. She reminded me a lot of Katrina in Lucha Underground, who's with Mil Muertes, that I can never say right. But I definitely it had a different feel to it, which was nice. I wonder if she's gonna be like a new manager for him or something, or what's gonna go down with that? Because I'm kind of curious because I don't know. Like Lashley's kind of in limbo right now. They're kind of trying to figure out what they want to do with him. But as we continue, I'm gonna give you this match because I like this match, but I know you were excited for Michael Bennett's debut as much as I was. So I'm gonna give you this match. We got Michael Bennett versus Bald Fandango.
Okay, like from a distance, if you close your right eye and you have water in your left eye and you're drunk, that man kind of looks like Fandango. The man, no. I was expecting some dude who like really looked like that. I mean, he kinda, a little bit, tiny bit. Looked like Van Dam. I'm sorry, but I think his name was Pepper.
Yeah.
The man named Pepper. When he introduces himself, the man says, "Hi, my name Pepper. But no, I looked him up a little bit. He is an accomplished indie star. He is married to Cherry Bomb, which was a fun fact. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. This was a pretty good match. It was the first televised match, free televised match with Michael Bennett on TNA. He was in the one night only that I did not purchase because I ain't got the money for that. You need to be putting that on the TV or have the TNA network for only $8.99 a month. Just gave you an idea, TNA. But this was a pretty good match. I didn't really, I felt like we could have gotten more, or we could have gone on a little bit longer. But we need to rewind a little bit, just a little bit. Maria on the mic is amazing. She is so good. Like, she could just talk. And, I know she's married to Mike Bennett. I get that. But I think we need to put her with Eli Drake and just have him talk. Just talk. I don't care about matches. Just talk. Just have a conversation with each other. That would be worth a 20-minute opening Raw segment. I'm just saying. But this was a good match. I'm excited to see more of what they do with Michael Bennett. And Pepper. See if he gets officially or is officially signed with TNA. Because he looks pretty good in this match too. I'm gonna probably later look on YouTube to see some more of his matches. But I like this. I'm excited to see, like I said, more of what they're planning on doing with Mike Bennett, the Miracle. Because we needed a miracle in TNA. We needed it.
All right. I'm curious real quick. Check Google Plus your messages and see if you can get into that live chat, because that's the chat the live chat I'm talking to LB on. Just see if you can get connected to it without signing into the account. I'm just wondering. But
where's it at though?
I sent you the link in the message.
Oh, okay.
But Mike Bennett versus, it's gonna be hard for me to call him Michael. I don't know why. Mike Bennett versus Bald Fandango.
His name is not Bald Fandango.
He looks just like Fandango without hair. Like I thought he was gonna hit a Russian leg sweep and then hit the pop up like he do in the game. I'm just saying. Anyway, Pepper Parks. I definitely like Pepper Parks. Pepper Parks, good gravy. You say that too many times, you gonna have your tongue in another direction that you don't want it. But it seemed like Bennett was playing around with Pepper a little bit too much. And Bennett was, taking control with the kicks and the knees. But Pepper Parks, that's kind of was his offense tonight, just the kicks and the knees and whatnot. And then I still don't know what to call this move, so I always call it the Cradle Shock. Shout out to Chris Sabin. I always call it the Cradle Shock for the win by Mike Bennett. I liked what I was seeing in this match, but I felt like still we didn't see enough. I think we didn't see enough to really be impressed, but that's kind of what TNA does. They kind of they let you grow. They don't give it all to you all at once. They let you, gradually grow. As we continue,
we got some more comments.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, word. Hey, it's Juggernaut. It's that Juggernaut 097.
That fellow.
Real quick, let me get to these comments. We got Juggernaut saying bad things, so I'm not gonna read his comments. We got racist fan says, when do you think TNA dies off? I think they're doing too good right now to die off, personally. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if you've watched Raw recently. That's just my simple question to you. Have you watched Raw or SmackDown? I'm just saying. Go ahead and LB says I got in the chat using the YouTube app to type. Okay, cool. And then the rest of these comments don't even matter. Don't even matter because it's Casey trying to defend the fact that the man don't look like Fandango when he do. Anyway, Matt Hardy. Wait, first I got to go back to EC3. EC3 says he was kind of sitting there with the title. This was a really cool promo. I like this. He says, it all ends tonight. I look over at Tyrus and he got the little stethoscope. I'm like, when did Tyrus become a doctor? I'm like, I don't remember seeing him get his doctorate. Who do you think he is, Xavier Woods or something? But anyway, he had the stethoscope on, and I was like, wait, what? That's weird. Anyway, and then he says, you go home in this. The camera zooms out and it's an ambulance. I was like, okay, I see you TNA with that. I really like this. That was just a good touch that was really just really simple, but kind of blew my mind as a guy who majors in camera work and whatnot. I really liked it. Any thoughts on EC3's promo in the ambulance that snuck up on me real quick?
I mean, how did they commandeer an ambulance? Was the driver just not there? Did they just kind of, hey, look, an empty ambulance. Let's do a promo. And I mean, clearly, Tyrus has his doctorate, his PhD. I clear that up, PhD, not doctorate. PhD. He's a doctor. In his spare time, he's the doctor of funkonomics. I don't know where that was going, but we have more comments.
Yeah, I have. There was nothing regarding the show. Continue to reply to them as I continue to the main event of the evening. Matt Hardy versus EC3 for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in a last man standing match. Do you want to take this match first, or do you want me to?
You go ahead.
All right. Hardy attacks EC3 before the official announcement is even made. So he, and I like this because, this entire match was just full of just storytelling. It felt like, and it was cool because Matt was like, I'm done with this. I'm done losing to this guy, and you could see the frustration throughout the match. But before EC3 was even announced as the true and mighty champion of the universe, he got attacked. Both men battle. They try to put each other through tables on the outside. They kind of, go back and forth with that. This match turned into table central because there were tables everywhere. Matt Hardy would seem to be in control as the weapons get involved. EC3 hits a splash off the ladder through the table on Matt Hardy. Nice. Low blow by Matt Hardy. Ouch. The fans were immediately upset. Matt Hardy, poor guy. Twist of fate off the apron through the table by Hardy. Hardy was just not, I could tell this was like the middle of the match. I could tell Hardy was it was just something different about him. It felt like tonight. It just felt like he didn't really care. He didn't really care. And this was like in the middle of the match. Twist of fate using the chair by Matt Hardy. My goodness. And it was another thing that was great storytelling. After that twist of fate, obviously EC3's down. The chair's still on his neck. Continues to get up with the chair still on his neck, which I really like. That was just a good, continuing to build on. He's undefeated. He may have done some crooked things, but he's still gonna fight to keep his title. I definitely like that. Then Matt Hardy would go out to Rebby. She would give Matt Hardy a hammer out of what Josh Matthews called the diaper bag. I don't know what little Maxwell was. I think she dropped him on the floor during this entire turn, maybe. And that's not nice. That's not nice. He's a baby. You can't be dropping the baby. Anyway, you can't be dropping the baby on the floor. Rebby gives Matt Hardy the hammer. EC3 hits a low blow. Then he hits the 1%er. And then as things start to blow up, Tyrus comes in kind of for backup. He turns to EC3, hits the Dominator. EC3 begins to fight off everyone as he gets up at 9, begins to fight off everyone. Matt Hardy with a shot. whip the title to EC3's head, and Matt Hardy is your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And one thing I was thinking of here is that this was even before the match started because I had already knew who was going to win because I saw a thumbnail by accident earlier today when I was trying to find a better video. But it said I put down that it was the perfect way to end the storyline. EC3 because number one, EC3 doesn't look weak because he had to lose by getting the crap beat out of him in a last man standing match, obviously. And Matt Hardy eventually gets the retribution that he deserves. I just didn't expect him to get that retribution in this way. And I'm pretty sure that EC3 is hurt. You could tell that his right elbow is still taped up. Before we get to the closing promo by Matt Hardy, any thoughts on the main event of the evening, which was a great match?
First of all, I have a comment for a comment from LB One of a Kind, formerly LB Clash Kings. He says, does anyone else want to see Prince Puma come to TNA, then have a feud with EC3 and Mike Bennett? No, I personally don't. I like Prince Puma / Ricochet in Lucha Underground and, PWG and where all the other places that he wrestles. I don't know if he would have the same impact on Impact. But I like what he's doing. Personally, I like what he's doing in the Indies, even though WWE refers to TNA as the Indies. But
real quick, before you get into his next one, racist fan, who's trying to be Cena? I'm just curious. I don't.
That's what I was wondering. I
was just trying to ask him so he knows I'm talking to him. I honestly, I would love to see Ricochet, Prince Puma come to TNA. Just because, I think he and EC3 could have a really good feud. I do agree that he's in a very, very, very good position right now. I do agree that he is in a very good position right now. He's kind of the figurehead of Lucha Underground, I guess you could say, which is always nice. And even the mask kind of looks like him. The Lucha Underground logo even kind of looks like him a little bit. So, I feel like, he has had some time to kind of, grow on a kind of national level now. He's been at PWG, he's been at these indie companies where he wasn't really, obviously he was getting noticed by internet fans, but he wasn't getting noticed by kind of a national audience. And now Lucha Underground, he has had a chance to really, show that he can shine. I would personally love to see it. Just personally.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they did sign him, if they would do the Prince Puma gimmick or the Ricochet gimmick, or, completely change him is one of the things I would be curious about. But because I feel like the Prince Puma thing is it's specifically, kind of tailored for Lucha Underground. I don't know if that would translate as well into TNA. I don't know what they would do with that, with a character like that. But anyway, EC3 v Matt Hardy, or versus Matt Hardy, whatever you wanna say. I loved this match from even before the opening bell when Matt Hardy attacked EC3. Just the intensity and the emotion in this match. I know while I was watching it, I messaged DJ on Facebook, and I was like, is this a pay-per-view match? It just felt big and intense, and the spots that they did were awesome. There was one spot where Matt Hardy did the side effect through the table. I don't know if you saw EC3's kind of feet slam off of the steps next to him. I was like, ooh, that probably hurt. And as any woman does, Rebby, she has a hammer in her diaper bag. I mean, I don't know who doesn't carry a hammer in their diaper bag. It's useful. I mean, you never know when you're gonna need to nail a nail into something. Like it's completely, I don't understand why people were like, whoa, why does she have I mean, everybody does it. But then again, going into what I was saying earlier about, the fan psychology, I was just thinking, after all of the stuff that EC3 has done in the past, he's done so much worse stuff than Matt Hardy has done. Matt Hardy does one blow to the ding ding, and all the fans immediately turn on him like, oh, boo. I'm like, really? Really? But I like this. I like this heel turn. I like the match. I like that, he hired Tyrus basically to turn on EC3, which was kind of cool. I'm just more excited to see what they're going to do with this. I want to see EC3's reaction next week. I want to see, I mean, if he is actually injured, how are they going to, if he has to be off TV for a while, how they're going to write him off. I'm just kind of curious what this is going to bring. I'm excited for another Matt Hardy heel run. I didn't necessarily like his previous heel runs, but I feel like after the promo we got after the match, which DJ is going to get to in a minute, I felt like I'm going to like this one a little bit more, especially, with Tyrus and Reby. I just feel like it's going to bring something to it and, make Matt even more of a heel. And I'm curious to see, Jeff's, what Jeff's going to do next week.
I think what was also really cool is we talked about a couple of weeks ago during the first episode, we didn't get that big moment. I think the big moment was more special because it wasn't on that first show. Because we weren't expecting it. I felt like, and I think they did a really good job of doing that. Because we obviously got a big debut on the first show, but we didn't get that big main event moment that we were expecting. And then now we get it, and it kind of, it goes hand in hand now, which is kind of nice. I think honestly, after the promo that Matt Hardy cut, and then obviously at the concerto on EC3, I was livid. Which and I was like livid, but I was like excited at the same time because as a fan, I was livid because EC3, they did that to my boy. But then again, I was kind of on the other side. I was like, wow, we haven't seen a concerto in a long time. But I think they may have written him off, like with that. Like, I mean, he got the crap beat out of him. He
kept getting up.
Huh?
But he kept getting up.
That's true. But still, he did get the crap beat out of him. Then he got hit with a concerto. They leave Matt Hardy kind of standing over him. I think he's gonna probably leave if he needs to get surgery. Probably get surgery and then come back, probably as a face. But Matt would cut a promo. He says, "I am the World Heavyweight Champion, and tonight I beat the unbeatable for me. I ended the streak for me. I won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship for me." He says, I don't listen to any of you. You are all gnats, ants, insignificant. He says it's time for you to stop giving. Well, he says that Reby, when we were at the top of the ramp a couple weeks ago, whispered in my ear and said it's time for you to stop giving and start taking. It's the era of big money Matt, the iconic Matt Hardy. And then you have the concerto on EC3, obviously. I definitely like the promo. I definitely like this new side of Matt Hardy. But I'll tell you, TNA did their job tonight. Because when you can get, especially me or any fan, you want to always have some sort of reaction. But when you can get a real reaction out of somebody, like I was genuinely upset by EC3 losing, EC3 getting the crap beat out of him. I was genuinely just mad. Like, I mean, it wasn't to the point where I was gonna go and jump off the steps or anything. But and that's kind of what wrestling is about. It's still an entertainment product, and I think that's kind of a wrestling company's job, and it's very hard to do because a lot of times as fans, we look at it a lot as, we look at it very analytically. We look at it kind of as reviewers per se now too. We kind of look at it as we know everything, and we don't necessarily get to dive back into the enjoyment that we have as fans. And like tonight, even though I was on the opposite end of enjoyment, I still enjoyed it as a fan. It was a nice double turn, as LB Clash of Kings said in the comments. It was a nice double turn, and it was, but it was also like EC3. EC3 is the true. He's still the champ. He's still the champ. Darn it, he's still the. But he's still the champ to me. But seriously though, I I just think it was just really good. And Matt Hardy, you didn't defeat the streak. He is still unpinned and unsubmitted. Technically, he's lost twice. Um, as far as he lost the first blood match and he lost the last man standing match. So gimmicky matches might not be his thing as far as records are concerned. But Casey, any thoughts on the turn, Matt Hardy, EC3, what their plans are? Obviously, they're going for a Hardy versus Hardy thing. Especially even if they're on the way out, which I actually kind of like. I like that TNA, and a lot of companies do this. Actually, I'm not just gonna try to pinpoint it all on TNA, but a lot of companies we've seen, especially recently, they give their, especially like TNA and Ring of Honor more so, they give those guys that are leaving, they will give you one more title run, which I always thought was nice. It was a nice thing. They always end up giving you at least one more title run. They did it with AJ. So, what's your thoughts on what's going to go down or what went down?
First of all, with with you talking about how we watch wrestling too much as reviewers, and I don't think I agree. Even if you don't watch it as a reviewer, I just think we always expect so much, and we want the next big thing. We want the next big exciting thing every week. And when we don't get that every week, we're like, oh, this sucks. But I think the one good thing like that TNA specifically does is they build it up, and when they know when we're not expecting it, that's when they kind of do these big, like, oh my God, what? So it's kind of like when you think TNA is starting to get stale, that's when they do the big surprise, when you're kind of not expecting it. As for the turn, I am completely on the other side of the fence with DJ there. I loved it. I loved every shot that EC3 took. I loved him going through the table. I loved the concerto. I was waiting for Edge and Christian to come out. It was beautiful. The promo after it was awesome. I think this is definitely the best heel Matt Hardy, like I said, that we're gonna get, or that we've had, is the one that we're gonna get. I kind of hope they do a Hardy versus Hardy thing, not necessarily for the title, but it's always interesting to see matches or feuds between either brothers or longtime tag team partners, just because they know each other so well. You're gonna get a great match, and we've seen it before, even in their last kind of run with WWE, when Matt Hardy was a heel in WWE. They did a Hardy versus Hardy feud, which put out some pretty good matches. Which is it's exciting me. And then obviously maybe they'll get an extension on their contracts, just because WWE. I don't know if they're gonna sign Jeff right away, because I think if I recall, he has to have another surgery and he's going to be out for another couple months, if I recall correctly, for his knee or something. So obviously he's not gonna, they're not gonna sign him right away and have him be able to wrestle. So why not stay with TNA while have Matt stay with TNA while Jeff is healing or going through surgery or whatever, and then after that you can go over to WWE, because obviously they're going to do that. I think both of them want to retire with WWE, where they started, which I'm excited for. But that's pretty much it. Just it was a good turn. It was. Don't even be mad. EC3 got what he deserved. He got it. He was asking for it. Matt Hardy just gave it to him, and you're just mad now. You're mad. He couldn't take his own medicine.
He's the true champ. Darn it. I tell you, there will never be another champ. Real quick. Hey, he's still technically undefeated. Anyway,
lost.
Rabbit Jones did say this was the best match of his career, talking about EC3, saying that he said he did tell us that EC3 and Andy would have a face turn or kind of face turn together, and they would come back together again. But LB says he was kind of upset that people online spoiled Matt winning the belt on social media, but it even shocked. Hey, shut up, Casey. It even shocked me while I was watching it. But I'm trying to watch Ring of Honor. I don't have it here, darn it. But anyway, that is it. That is TNA Impact Wrestling for 1/19/2016. It was definitely a good show. We got that big moment, and now we're kind of looking forward to what we're gonna see next week. But there we go. NXT is coming up very, very soon, like now. So we'll see you guys soon enough on the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic. Be sure to subscribe for more, because we love you.